Welcome to Mason and Fricker's Eldritch Stories. My name is Mike Mason. Housework is a chore for many of us. Keeping our homes nice and clean can be an obsession for some, but sometimes that strange stain on the wall just won't go away. Something was running down the wall. Kelly reached out and touched it, smearing it between her finger and thumb. She was tempted to taste it, like the TV cops do after prodding their fingers into some mysterious white powder. But this was not white, it was brown, and it was seeping down from where the wall met the ceiling. It looked too viscous for a burst pipe. She headed upstairs and banged on the door. There was some weird music, playing loud. The music paused, and a man answered the door, about her height, but with a beard and glasses. He looked weary. "Yeah?" "Oh, hi. I live downstairs. I think there's a leak. I wondered if maybe you'd spilt something? It's running down my wall." He stared at Kelly and then looked back over his shoulder to something beyond her view. "Yeah, look man, I got it. Sorry about that. I'll deal with it." He shut the door. Kelly got back from work around 6. She was not looking forward to cleaning the wall, even less so when she saw the brown marks were now joined by red ones. She just had to dab her finger on it. She could not help herself. Sticky and red. That can't be good. She headed back upstairs to the man's apartment. Momentary images of heroism flashed through her mind. Her breaking down the door and finding the guy bleeding out. The ambulance guys complimenting her on her swift action. She banged on the door. Silence. She banged harder and louder. Deciding it was time for actual heroics, she hit the door with her shoulder. On her third go, she felt the frame splinter and the door sprang open. Darkness. She fumbled for her phone and waved light around the room. The guy was sitting on the floor, propped up against the wall, blood pooled around him. She remembered things people had said to her, trying to oppress her with their wisdom. A little blood looks like a lot. But no one ever told her what a lot of blood looked like. Workplace first aid training kicked in. Approach, call out, and check for hazards. Should she call an ambulance first? She squatted down and put a hand on the man's shoulder. "Hey, do you hear me?" His eyes flickered. That must be a good sign. She was about to call emergency services when she saw his lips moving. Getting close, she could hear a whisper, 2 syllables. Did he say the wall or the way? His eyes strained upwards as she followed his gaze to the wall above. There was that same brown goo that had trailed down her wall, only it seemed to be seeping out of a crack in the plaster above his head. She looked at the trails of blood on the wall. Somehow it looked like some of it was flowing upward, towards the crack. Standing back, she could see the crack made a circle about 4 feet across. The stuff was oozing out and into it. She reached out and touched the space inside the circle. That was when she felt it. Whether the beardy man had sacrificed himself to open the portal or had intended to use it himself, she would never know. She now pays the rent on his apartment and communicates with his circle of online friends as if she were him, and they do not seem to know the difference. One flesh and blood person did call round, but they seemed satisfied when she told them that the beardy man had moved out and left no forwarding address. She often wonders how her life would now be if she'd made that call to emergency services. Disposing of a body changes a person. She learned that much. Now she sits in Beardy's apartment, looking at the brown goo slowly pooling into a tray propped against the wall. The tray needs changing a couple of times a day, rinsing them in the sink. But it is all worth it. There's another world behind the wall, one that most people cannot imagine. One of these days, she is going to leave this world behind. Our tale today was The Guy Upstairs, written by Paul Fricker and read by Mike Mason. Find out more at eldritchstories.com and join us again next time for another chilling tale. And remember, keep it eldritch.